Hello and welcome to Not One Right Way, the podcast. It's me, your co-host, Melissa, she, her, and
It's me, Marv. They, them, theirs.
how are you, Marv?
Doing pretty darn good. But let me tell you something that's not been doing good.
Oh, okay.
So it was Mother's Day recently, and my mother received 3 bouquets, and my eyes itch so bad.
Oh,
I want to claw my eyes out. The pollen, the something is just like eating me up. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. But I don't want to throw away her flowers. That would be like, that seems
not
mean.
Mother's Daily. Have you
Yeah.
considered poisoning the flowers? Like, just pouring a little fabuloso in the water and being like, dang, it's so strange they died. She doesn't need to know it was you.
Your mind. I never would have thought of that. I never would have thought of that.
You know?
Yeah.
Good for that.
Yeah. But the thing is, me and my mom both have the same allergy. She's also suffering. And
Oh,
she's like, I think we need to throw them out. And I'm just like, I don't make me do it, please.
you could put them outside, just
Yeah.
admire them through the window.
You
All
know,
good
you're a
options.
genius. You poison them, put them outside. Good ideas, both of them.
Anytime.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. As you know, I'm newly unemployed, so exploring so much free time, which means I'm watching a lot of TV. My favorite activity.
Yeah.
Lot of murder mystery shows. Watch The Residence, Man on the Inside, Interior Chinatown, and or if you count that as a murder mystery. So I'm doing my best.
Yes, I'm so glad you watched The Residence.
So
I
good.
loved I loved your live tweeting of it
In the Discord.
in the
Yeah,
Discord.
it's really good. So no spoilers, but I'm really glad it ended the way it did.
Yeah,
And like we talked about, it was very refreshing having like Cordelia Cup as the lead and pointing out the amount of men in the room each time, being like, "Why are there so many men in here? Can there be less men?" And I was just like, "Yes, thank you." It's my life
sure.
every day.
Yeah,
So it was really fun. It
yeah.
was great.
I remember getting to that final episode and being like, "I need, like, 5 more seasons, like, just keep coming with them, I'll watch them all."
I could watch Cordelia Cup solve a million cases. I actually
Yes.
want Cordelia Cup and Benoit Blanc from Knives Out to solve a case together somehow. Cinematic
Yes.
universe,
Ooh, crossover episode, that'd be so fun.
definitely. But speaking of murders and mysteries, I think this is a great segue into our guest because she's covered a lot of, uh, some would say, morbid things. Our guest is a writer and performer, Elyse Willems. Welcome.
It took everything in my being. You all just kept hitting topics where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they're talking about the residents, they're talking about Man Inside, they're talking about murdering people with Fabuloso. How can I just sit here silently and not
Well,
contribute?" That was hell. Hi.
I'm so
hello.
sorry.
No, I was dying. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Melissa going hard with the Fabuloso."
It's just, you gotta think
What's in
murder
your
first,
Yeah,
I
what's under your
guess.
sink?
Yeah.
What do I got? Yeah,
Tackle any topic you want first.
have you 2 seen Poker Face?
I have
No.
not.
Should I?
Oh, I think if you're into the mystery, especially kind of the mystery of the week, you'll be really into Poker Face. It's especially if you like The Residents.
It was so fun.
Is that the one with oh
It's
gosh.
Natasha Lyonne, it's, like, the Ryan
Yes.
Johnson who did Knives Out and
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Already interested.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next watch. Did
Yeah.
you like Man on the Inside?
I thought it was really sweet and heartwarming, and I appreciated that they took the true story. I don't know if you know that it was based on an actual older gentleman who he went into a nursing home and tried to solve a mystery or crime. He was like a mole there.
I didn't
And,
know that.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool adaptation of that.
It was really sweet. Like, I teared up at the end, and I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
expect these emotions.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
very
was a
charming.
lot.
Ted Danson, he was a
It's so
gift.
good.
Yeah. Marv, why don't you
Yeah.
start us off with your hard-hitting emotional question?
Yes. As you know, Elise, I'm a social worker. Usually, I'm meeting somebody, first question out of my mouth is, "Do you need help? It looks like you might need help." And all the questions that follow are equally as intrusive. So my question for you today is, if you had a pet rock, what would you name it?
Oh my gosh. Do you ask this question to everyone on the show, or do you come up with new ones?
You come up with new ones.
Okay. Probably something kind of, like, quaint and dapper like a Nigel, something that makes that rock seem extra pathetic. I am
Oh.
a big softie for underdog characters. I don't know if either of you have seen the Marcel the Shell movie,
Oh, I love
but
that movie.
yeah, just that's I wept the first 2 times I saw that movie. He's just that, kinda little pathetic underdog, and I really have a soft spot for those kind of characters. So I'd give him the Marcel adjacent name, and I think a Nigel or maybe like a Witherby or something would feel appropriate for my sad little rock who just wants to see the world or something.
Something that would get him bullied on the playground, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but by the pebbles that are smaller than him,
Oh.
for sure.
A sopping wet little meow meow.
Yeah.
This is my current pet rock, Lassie.
Oh my gosh. Do
Wow.
you like, do anything? Do you paint or put googly eyes on the rocks or anything like that?
I don't, but I did one time have a pet rock named Roxanne. Not very creative.
Remember Roxanne.
No,
Yeah.
that's great.
With a
And
crocheted rock bodysuit.
Yes,
oh my gosh,
I
go off,
remember this.
Roxanne.
It's all coming back.
Yeah.
Forgot about Roxanne.
I don't know where she went.
Oh, no.
That's
I
not a good
no clue. And she can't, like, get up and run away, so it's like, I lost her.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
I that wasn't that hard of a question. You made me Marv, you made me feel like you were gonna reach into my soul.
I have another one. I was gonna ask, what's your favorite Halloween candy or tradition?
Oh my gosh. Candy is tough. I'm not a candy corn person. Sorry if either of you are into candy corn.
I accept
Um,
candy corn. I would eat it.
I do not.
I I'm pretty basic in, like, chocolate, so if I get a mini Kit Kat, or if I was back home growing up in Canada trick-or-treating, if I got a mini Aero bar or a mini Coffee Crisp, those would be, like, top tier candies for me.
Nice.
In tradition, I love haunted houses. Um, I don't and haunted mazes. I I appreciate the artistry more than I get scared. So I really enjoy especially if, like, someone's ramping up props or they've got really great costume characters. I love going to haunted houses every year. Are you
Nice.
2 Halloween people or Christmas people? I feel like you fall in one camp or the other usually.
I think I'm more of a Christmas person by virtue of I usually do celebrate Christmas, but not because I don't enjoy Halloween. I just don't enjoy dressing up.
Which
Like,
I I get.
I like the clothes that I like, and I don't like the one time I wore a wig for a day, and it was just, like, awful, and I can't do it.
No.
But I'm also, like, buzzed hair, I keep it very close cropped. Why was I wearing a wig, you know?
No, and I recently learned that synthetic hair is full of all kinds of terrible, terrible chemicals that we should not be touching and putting near us. So, I
Reasonable.
feel ya.
Fair. I would say, I think my heart, this wasn't the question, controversially Thanksgiving, but
Okay.
somewhere in the middle. I just love cooking. So, um, uh, the idea, not like any of the colonialist things of Thanksgiving, but the fact that this is a sport, it's more of a sport for me. It's like, how much can I cook and how well can I do it?
Do
I take
you
it up
have a
the Bob's Burger way.
do you have a dish that is your signature?
Mm. I don't think I have a signature. Because I take it as a sport, every year I try to cook a completely different menu and top myself from last year, like Bob from Bob's Burger. I just wanna be like him every day.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. By far the best Thanksgiving episodes of TV to rewatch, Bob's Burgers.
Truly.
Exactly. That's also why I love Thanksgiving because they release a new Bob's Burger episode, and it's like, it's my time of the
I think you
year.
need to get someone from Bob's Burgers on the show.
So
We're
close.
so close.
Really?
1 degree of separation.
Ah,
Yeah. We've gotten people who've worked on it, which is pretty much, but we've gotten people who worked on the movie, and they're so cool.
cool.
Coolest people.
Truly.
Can you share with us and the listeners a little bit about your start, Elyse origin story?
My start begins in the game industry. I was sort of floating nebulously and trying to find work and a path forward. And I knew that I wanted to be working in the entertainment industry. And the year was 2012. And a friend of mine had a former colleague who was over at GameTrailers.com, and he was the producer of the show GTTV, which was Game Trailers TV with Jeff Keighley, where on this show that actually it aired on TV on Spike TV, RIP, and
RIP.
it featured Jeff Keighley going to game developer offices and interviewing game developers about upcoming games and features, et cetera, et cetera. And it was kind of, that big televised gaming TV show. And my friend said, "Hey, I know someone over there who is hiring for a production assistant. I think you'd be great for it. Would love to recommend you." And I, of course, thought, "Oh my gosh, there's a billion different people they could hire that would be much better than me for this." And she said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm going to recommend you." Yeah. So I was working on the TV show as a production assistant and just learning so much and getting to go out in the field and be on set, but then also getting to work on post production on the television show, which taught me so much. And really just even working with editors who were cutting the TV show and cutting for the website, really learned how to edit at that job. And then the TV show ended. And so I got moved over to the website. And there I would be working on previews and making original content for the website. And again, I feel like my whole career has been people taking chances on me. And I try to pay that forward to other people. And I think it's so important because, you never really know until you give somebody an opportunity what they're capable of. And I truly feel so grateful because I feel like I've had some awesome people in my life who have given me those opportunities. And so I started doing kind of this SNL weekend update sort of show there, but with video games. And I was writing it and producing it and co-hosting it with my best friend Isla. And it was all just because my boss also just gave me the chance to do that there. And did a lot of, oh gosh, like it's weird because it's weird to like kind of go through your own resume, but did a lot of fun, original and sketch comedy there and all sorts of stuff while producing content, not always content that I was featured in. And then my husband James, he was over at Funhaus, owned and operated by Rooster Teeth, which was a comedy gaming channel. And they had an opportunity at the end of 2015 to hire kind of their first employee. And they all approached me and said, "Hey, we think you would be a good fit." And I knew most of them by way of him working with that team. And I said, "Okay, well, I feel like I need an opportunity and I need to move." Because at the time, there was sort of this, we had been bought by Defy Media, and there was kind of this feeling of uncertainty about the future of game trailers. And
Mm.
so it felt like a smart decision as well as something that could be really fun and have growth opportunities for me and also, just a new challenge. And so I went to work with them and I feel like I'm rambling now. So feel free to interject
No,
anytime with a
you're good.
follow-up question of sorts. But yeah, that was sort of, I would say, my big start was I felt like game trailers and the people I worked with there who were so awesome and really bolstered and helped me grow and learn, that felt like the start for me.
That's awesome. I feel like the past 2 jobs I had was also people taking a chance on me, because like Mar mentioned, they work in social work, but I'm the industry person on our side. I work in production. I did video games, and then I moved to animation, and it was a lot of people just being very kind. So having those people being kind enough to trust you is always really important. What
What's your kind of dream production job?
as oh, wow.
I know
I
it's a
feel
loaded
like
question.
I feel like at this point, having done kind of video games and animation, I love animation the most, but for now, I think it's just getting to produce stuff with a good group of people and make
Mhm.
good content. Like, for a long time, it was like, go work at Disney, work at a Pixar, but if I'm with a good group of artists and I'm helping them make something fun and they're having a good time, I'll be a happy producer, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely know the people who they got what they thought was their dream job, the pinnacle of, some big corporation or place that has that kind of pedigree or that name, and then they got there and they thought, "Oh, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be."
Yeah.
And actually this, small indie studio or what have you is really where found my home, where I felt like I was doing the work I'm most proud of. So I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, because I always had the most fun, regardless of these 2 jobs. They're both very different stakes, but I always had the most fun just being with the artists and, like, seeing the work they did and getting to know them. So, for me, that's, like, what I love doing. So it's like, I think at this point, wherever I end up next, it'll be as long as I get to be with artists and help make good stuff, I'll be fine. But I wanted to ask you, when you were working on beloved Spike TV, what was it like as, like, your first industry experience, and how did you learn editing being a PA? Like, did you have a good mentor? What was that environment?
Well, so when I was at Spike, we were owned by Viacom, so in the MTV Networks building, and we would do some cross-pollination, so sometimes I would even be loaned out and I would go work on a Comedy Central shoot, which was really cool, and we worked in this sort of mega office where all these teams were mixed together. We used the same graphics teams, we used the same, kinda like deployment teams, all the executives sort of blended to varying degrees. So it did feel like this sort of heyday of TV production that I don't necessarily know even exists that much in that format. The way that things have been just downsized so much, or people work remotely at home, you would go into the office and it would always be a full bullpen of cubicles full of people and offices full of people. And it was just kinda always busy, 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 go, go, go. Everybody has deadlines, and I I felt very fortunate as a PA that I just got diversity in my work because I would kind of be put on so many different projects and have all these small tasks that kind of got me windows into different parts of production. Like one day I might be assisting a camera op, or one day they might say, "Okay, well we have these post graphics that need to get, make sure that they're sized correctly and put into an edit." Or you have to do the subtitles for the captioning for the TV show, like, or even just whole episodes of the TV show where my boss would kind of lean on me to sort of post produce these packages. Or there's a weird, like, bonus giveaway that you've gotta oversee and make sure the legalese is right on this. Or you're on set and you're kind of just, like, helping arrange, like, set decor, just all kinds of different things where you get a little bit of a window. And when it comes to editing, like, I would have full packages and shows that I would be responsible for post-producing and then getting to my boss for, like, a final oversight. And so I would just get to sit with editors a lot. And there's hands-on experience in being taught, but then also watching a really, really skilled and equipped and talented editor edit, for me, went so far. 'Cause I would it's almost like watching someone dance and kind of like, memorizing their movements and being able to ask questions too. And so there was a lot of, like, just editing that I'm like, "Oh, I just watched really, really good and talented and fast editors edit and absorb that."
That's awesome. That is really important. Just being around really amazing
Yeah. Uh,
people and
that
kind
yeah.
people.
I always feel like, as much as you can surround yourself with people who are better than you is kind of always the way to go because you will learn more and you'll feel like you wanna meet them on their level.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So how did you transition? You mentioned you got asked to move to Fun's house. What was that transition like going from kind of a big studio environment into essentially a YouTube space?
After Game Trailers had been sold to Defy Media, it was pared down a lot. So we ourselves were reduced to maybe a 15-person team after we went to Defy, and
Hmm.
they did kind of this mass layoff in the sale. And so we I kind of had a little bit of that experience of, "Oh, now we're a smaller team and we're really sort of run and gun and everyone needs to be wearing multiple hats." And there were things that I picked up doing, like making a lot of the thumbnails for our YouTube channel, which I wasn't a graphic designer by any means. And when I was at Viacom, we had a whole team that if you needed a thumbnail or a graphic or a key art for something, you went to the graphic designer. But now it was, oh no, I've really got to step up and be watching some YouTube tutorials and like figure this out. And so a lot of on the job learning experience with that. And so kind of when I transitioned over to Funhaus, sort of had that little bit of background then of okay, I've really got to be able to, have these multiple roles and also to be editing full time, which I at that point had some editing experience, but didn't really consider myself that strong of an editor. But I thought that everybody was really supportive of me and I would also try to sort of figure out what my skills in the edit were. I knew I wasn't the most technically advanced or skilled editor, so I would think, "Okay, well, what are the ways I could make this funny?" And that's inserting little jokes or things that didn't rely on having that kind of technical prowess. And then I think that that's sort of, it's your voice too that you add.
Did you have a question, Marv? Or did you just go thoughtfully in agreement?
I just went that yeah. Um, us in the biz, we call it a therapeutic. Um, it does serve a purpose. But no, I was actually just thinking about, like, contributing your voice through this editing, through the sort of effort and trying and
Well,
failing and floundering.
oh, yeah, and it's hard coming into a pre-established group and formation,
Mm,
and they've got a whole vibe going, they've got a dynamic, and then saying, "Okay, well, how do I introduce myself?" And also coming into Funhouse where they had a really large audience
Definitely.
and saying like, "Well, how do I speak to this audience?" Because I always describe myself as 5 ferrets in a human suit. Like, I don't it was very of a time of, like, this is kind of bro internet humor, and I'm like, "I'm not really like that. I'm just kind of a weird little person." And so how do you sort of endear yourself to people, especially an audience that maybe isn't necessarily open to a woman joining what they perceive to be just kinda their male buddies hanging out. So it was a
right.
that was a big part of the transition too, and also the challenge and hill like,
Yeah.
our mountain to climb.
I was curious about this because when I started watching Funhouse, one of the things that stood out to me, I was like, "This is a lot of bros." But when I saw you in the space, I was like, it made at least me feel more welcome because, like,
Oh.
I was starting to be more of a gamer because, like, my fiance now was one who introduced me to Funhouse, and I was like, "Well, at least Elise is here too. There's a woman." But it was like it meant something to me at least, and I was curious how you had felt and, like, how you navigated that space of, like, being a woman in a very bro YouTube itself is already pretty male, and then gaming itself can be pretty male.
Yeah.
So, like, double whammy, but I always appreciated your voice and I always thought you were funny, and it wasn't just because, like, you're a woman, but I was wondering how that felt for you.
Thank you, Meli it's really sweet of you to say, Melissa, and I'm like, really meaningful to me that you felt that way, and appreciate you saying it. It was hard. It was hard because I think immediately a lot of people just were dismissive of me. I literally had many moments where I would go to conventions, a year after I started, or even years after I started, where like young men would come up to me and say, "Hey, I was one of the people when you started, I made some crappy comment about how, oh, a woman's going to ruin Funhouse. I was
Mm,
wrong." Like I literally, and like I thought that was, I mean, it was unfortunate that people made comments like that in the first place, because I did read them and it did, hurt my feelings and shake my confidence and all those things that are not great. But I thought that was actually really kind of sweet and mature, that a lot of these young guys, and hopefully kind of a teaching moment of just how to be toward people on the internet in general. And I'm not even saying like people who identify as women, but just people in general. And yeah, it was definitely like it's hard. It is hard being an only woman in that space. And I would say though, by the time that my tenure at Rooster Teeth ended, my job ended, it felt like a completely different space. It felt like I did not feel singular. I did not feel alone as a woman. I did not feel like there was that kind of, you know, feeling or invisible wall that I felt like I was always having to climb against. And that to me was a pretty cool thing. And I remember Ashley Jenkins, who was over at Rooster Teeth and The Know, she once years ago, she was part of a gaming group called the Frag Dolls, like frag grenades or whatever.
that's great.
It's a cool name. And I remember her saying like, well, we have this all women gaming group and it's a novelty and it's cool. But for me, the cooler thing will be when we no longer need this group because women are ubiquitous in gaming, or people of
Mm,
all genders are ubiquitous in gaming. And so I always thought that was neat, because I thought, oh, the second that we stop doing these sort of women, like, oh, it's all the women, I was like, then it'll be a good sign, because that will mean there's this parity, or there's this, you know, everybody kind of gets a place here in the table and in the room. And that's just my long rambly way of saying, yes, it was very hard. There were things that made me deeply upset in, especially in the early years, and things that were challenging, things that I felt like I maybe didn't have anybody who understood or could relate. But I do think things did change, and not everything became perfect in the internet space. I don't know that that's ever
come on.
possible,
Yeah,
but I definitely felt like my support structure around me and the folks that we all kind of banded together with, there was a definite change. And I thought our community too changed in ways that was really meaningful and cool.
definitely. I had a great time watching, and I could definitely see the vibes change as the years went on too. So
Oh
it
yeah.
it was noticeable on the audience side as well. Mm.
That makes me happy to hear too.
You've mentioned a couple times that while we've been talking about the support systems you've had. I wonder if there's anybody that you'd like to just shout out right now, right here for
Oh,
us.
I mean, especially at the end of Funhouse, like Lindsay and Charlotte, it was really nice to always kind of have that like feminine energy, and the three of us to sort of have that, like, a great rock at the end of all, like, toward the last couple of years. And my favorite moments that I think back to was when, like, Lindsay and Alana and I recorded this video with Ryan Haley, where it was the three of us and Ryan Haley, who I love dearly, and just him being his weird self, and then the three of us just kind of being like, "No, Ryan," and, like, so, yeah, there's it I also like a lot of the gals in Austin too. I think we all kind of would, have each other's backs and be able to commiserate and relate and just hype each other up. Jessica Vasami, who I co-host 30 Morbid Minutes with, my podcast, she's like one of my best friends. And though she was in Austin, just knowing that there's there was somebody out there who was at the company and we were all kind of fighting for the same things was really, gave me a lot of comfort.
Shout out those wonderful people.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I love that. Now, I'm sure lots of people would want to know more about Funhouse, but I want to pivot to your writing. You have a great writing resume, and I want to highlight that. You've written stuff for YouTube, you've written books, you've written for games. How did you balance doing both your online stuff, like your work at Funhouse, but also focusing on your solo career and writing?
Now I get to focus entirely on my solo career,
Yeah,
whether I want
post
to or not.
2024.
Yeah. I think it's just I have always been someone who enjoys writing, and since I was a kid, it was a big part of, like, who I was and an outlet for me creatively, and I think it's also when you have that burning desire, you get ideas in your brain and you're like, "I just need to get these out," and it's a sickness. Like, Marv should be treating people for it, and because, you kinda torment yourself sometimes, I think, and I don't ever wanna be like one of those tortured artist people, but I do think there are things where I'm like my children's novel, I was just like, "I've got this idea in my head, and I need this to happen." So, even if it means that every day I'm gonna work a full day and then I'm still gonna spend 30 minutes working on something, though I'm tired or what have you, it's just kinda who you are. And then I think that is a big part of it is drive where and it's not easy when you have responsibilities or you're working full time, but I think it is part of, if you want to, especially if you want to be writing, like being able to dedicate those kind of off hours to saying, I'm going to work on this. And especially with the game writing I've done where I did, when I was at Funhouse, it was just kind of part time. So it would be the sort of thing where like evenings or weekends, I'm, just like, okay, it's hard, but I'm going to feel rewarded after the fact for it. I was really fortunate at Funhouse that I did have opportunities to write sketch stuff, or we even had an animated series that I wrote an episode of. So I was so appreciative to get those outlets. And then for 30 Morbid, our podcast that we were doing for Rooster Teeth and now run independently, being able to research and write those episodes as part of my job doing that was really cool to do and still is. So it's do either of you write or do you have just those kind of like burning passionate creative things that you're like I'm up until, midnight working on this?
I used to be a passionate writer, like, way back in the day, but after talking to you and last week, Maureen Johnson, I'm like, maybe I'll write again. I have a lot of
Hell
free time,
yeah.
so I could write again, but
Hell yeah.
just for fun,
And you know what
nothing
it is
serious.
too? I kinda have a rule for myself, especially if I'm really trying to work on a project, and it sounds so lame, but there are days where I'm like, "I'm so tired, I can't write," but I will sit down and make myself write 1 sentence because it's
Mm.
1 sentence than I had or from more than I had the day before, and it just keeps you kind of in the process and feeling validated and feel like you're doing something, and there have been days where I sit down and I write a single sentence, and that's all I do. But then you're like, "Okay, I don't feel like I'm abandoning or losing track of this project." So maybe it's just the sentence, Melissa.
Yeah, my English teacher from high school, Mr. Hill, he's a big fan of the pod. He used to give us these things called 7-minute essays in class, where you would put 7 minutes on the clock and we would just write, like, whatever. He would sometimes give us a topic, but you could just freehand write for 7 minutes and be like, "This is it. This is something. You at least wrote for 7 minutes." And I just kinda always loved that assignment because it gets you writing at least, and you don't have to go past the 7 minutes unless you want to. But,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
shouts
always
out
been a
Mr.
good
Hill
exercise. Yeah. Shout out Mr.
Honestly,
Hill.
shout out to Mr. Hill.
'cause I like that, and I don't know if you're familiar with The Artist's Way, which is sort of it's a book and a system that and a big part of that is doing your "morning pages," quote, unquote, where it's like, when you wake up, just sit down and write, like, 3 pages, stream of consciousness,
Mhm.
and you might have something that you write in those 3 pages that spawns a bigger idea. And I've done it before in the past, and where I have had those little inklings of like, oh, that would make a good short story, or you know, what have you. So you might be into that too.
Yeah. One of my 7-minute essays became my senior thesis where I wrote a play, and it was from something that I just wrote in his class one time. So, something came from those
That's
7
awesome.
minutes. But I but my true passion is animation and talking about it. So, I don't know if that's but it does keep me up at night sitting there thinking about the state of the cartoons.
Oh my gosh. Did either of you see the Looney Tunes The Day the Earth Blew Up?
No.
No,
Oh my
I moved
gosh.
town.
Amazing. Like the animation, it just moves a mile a minute. Is
Oh,
there any recent animation that you think that I should check out?
Have you seen oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm
Did I
naming the
open
documentary Meet the Pickles.
win
Marv,
or
help me.
lose?
Win or Lose. Yes, you have to
Win
watch
or
Win or Lose.
Lose?
Yes.
It's a
On
documentary, you said?
No, it's the documentary is called Meet the Pickles, but the show is called Win or Lose. You watch Win or Lose, and then you watch Meet the Pickles. It's so good, Elise. It'll
Okay.
blow your mind.
Really good.
It'll blow your heart open. You'll cry. You'll laugh.
Oh,
It's so good.
I'm familiar with Win or Lose.
It's so delightful.
Okay, I haven't watched Win or Lose yet, but I should. Okay, yes. All right. I'm in. Thank you.
And then you can listen to the interview with Patrick Lynn, who worked on Win or Lose.
This is all a plug for the Patrick Lynn interview, isn't it?
It was all a plug. No, it's genuinely so delightful.
Yeah.
It's one of the best, the art style, the way they intertwine each episode, and the story is so beautiful. It makes me
Okay.
so happy.
I'm in. Did y'all ever watch the Doug shorts on Disney
Yes,
Plus? Doug the
it's
dog?
so sweet. Yeah.
There's that one with him and Carl where he's like, "Papa, am I just a pet?" And then he's like, "Well, you are my pet, but you're also my best friend." And I sobbed. I
Oh my
couldn't.
gosh.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poetry.
Yeah. It's not a new animation, but it's one that I recently watched and has sort of been stuck on the front of my mind. Millennium Actress.
Millennium
Um,
actress.
I'm now remembering that I was recommended from Patrick Lynn. Patrick Lynn recommended.
Are there any podcasts that Patrick Lynn Hey, are there any podcasts that Patrick Lynn has been a guest on recently that I should check out?
Hey, you should check out this interview with Patrick Lynn. There's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah,
Oh, this looks sick.
Yeah, the
but
kid did
So sick.
recommend it's his favorite movie, apparently, so
yeah,
Oh, so it's from Satoshi Kon. He did
mhm,
Paprika and,
yeah.
well,
yeah.
Perfect Blue, I've heard
Blue.
is whoa. But Tokyo Godfathers, um,
Paprika's a little weird, but it is pretty.
yeah. Okay, alright. I think my husband will also really like this too, 'cause he watches, I think, a lot of, trippy Japanese
And then
animation
he can
too.
get a hentai car from the movie.
Exactly. That's the goal, the life goal for everyone.
That's a plug for a different podcast. Answer for It. There's a lot of talk of hentai
Oh
cars on
my
that
god,
one.
I wish you hadn't
Okay.
heard that, Melissa. They're all over they're all over LA.
They're all over LA.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but hearing Melissa just, insert that, "Oh, and then you can get this my
Yeah.
card." I was like,
On
we
Mark's
don't
face.
sell those. This
They're
isn't the
called cringe cars, the direct translation. Fun
Even if
fact.
you hadn't listened to Answer for It, I would have been like, "Yep, yep, mhm, mhm."
I'm a huge Answer for It fan.
Oh
I've
my
been to
god.
every live show
Oh
except
my
the first
god,
one
what?
because I didn't know about it yet, but I'm a huge fan.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. This is the podcast plug section, so plug all your podcasts quick, go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, Answer for It is a comedy trivia podcast featuring myself, James Willems, who's also my husband, Zach Anner, who he's a writer from Speechless, and he's also hilarious. He was on Oprah a billion years ago, and AJ Locascio, who is Gambit in X-Men '97, and he's Gizmo and Gremlins, and you know him from all kinds. He's Lotor. in Voltron. He's a voice acting slut.
Many
He's
voiced.
everywhere. Um, and so we just kind of like answer trivia questions, but we riff on them and improvise, and it gets really silly and stupid. As Melissa mentioned, like there was not a question about anime cars. So the fact that Melissa's like, yeah, there's a diatribe about anime cars. And then I also, with my dear beloved friend, wife in the afterlife, Jessica Vasami, make 30 Morbid Minutes where we just investigate and explore and probably laugh too much discussing morbid and macabre and dark topics and history and places and events and all that sort of thing. It's we get we get as close to true crime as you can without really talking about true crime.
Nice. Are there any cringe cars in that podcast? Or
No, I bet if Jessica lives in Austin, and I feel like there's a deficit of anime cars, and I feel like if I brought it up, she'd be like, "No, what's that?" And then I'd explain it to her, and she'd go, "Oh, oh," and then I'd never hear the end of it, because then she'd start joking about how, "Oh, Elyse, your anime car," and I'd be like, "I don't have." Yeah, you know the dynamic, Melissa. Yeah,
James is so close.
he's so close. Wait till once he sees Millennium Actress, I'm done.
It's over. It's Jover. Yeah. Check out all of Elise's great podcasts. And you too can learn about these beautiful cars.
Yes.
That's the goal. Marv, can you hit me with like the darkest question you got?
The
Something
darkest question I
that's
got?
gonna burn into my soul.
Like a true
Ooh.
social worker question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I keep mentally going back to this question of support and the people in your life.
Oh no.
And this was asked to me one time. It seems like you can recognize the value of these people and the support that they've provided for you. Have you ever considered that they're acting as a mirror, reflecting back your kindness?
No.
Don't
Don't do it, Marv. This question's gonna make me cry.
kindness, your love and care for others. Have you ever considered that maybe that's where they're coming from? And that fucking broke me. I was in public and I was like, why did you
That is, oh my god. Oh my god. This is like, oh my god. Because my husband's always like, he's like, "You're always, like, going out," like, he's like, "You do so much for other people, which is amazing." He's like, "But you have to, like, take care of yourself too."
Well,
But then I don't ever feel like I do enough for people. Like, you never feel like you do enough. And that is a just 1-2 punch of a question, because I truly think we're on this planet to be good to each other.
yeah.
And if you aren't, then like, what are we doing? If you aren't here for people and you aren't making family beyond your blood family, like, what are we even doing here? And God, Marv, that's wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, because I never think I'm doing enough, even if maybe I am. But that is a good perspective question, and I'm gonna tell it to my friend who's a social worker, and it'll probably break her too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those
Melissa, you're like, "I'm doing enough."
Marv doesn't ask me that question, and I'm so glad they haven't, because that would have made me cry too.
Yeah.
No.
And, like, the crazy thing is, this was not this was in public. This person was not social working me, but they kinda were a little bit. And they just, like, asked me this question, and I had to stop myself from trying to cry. And it was also the first day we met.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was just like, we've been
Wow.
talking for 30 minutes, you, like, throw
Yeah.
a sucker punch right there.
But I kinda love that, because I do love big talk. I don't like small talk. I'm like, "Let's get to talking about the real stuff."
Yeah.
And really get it. And I think that is I always ask people, like, what's bringing them joy in life at at that moment in time. And it like always kind of breaks me when I ask somebody that, and it really takes them a lot to think on it. Because my hope is
Yeah.
with my friends, or people that I'm seeing that I like, that they would instantly think, "Oh, this thing or that thing." So it's
Yeah.
it's hard when they got to think on it. And Gosh, that's a hard question to be asked. So I understand why you reacted that way, but now I'm gonna take it.
Steal,
You're
steal, steal.
welcome to.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make somebody else cry in public.
As you should.
Yeah.
Well, for our closer, I feel like I want to close with final 2 questions. Do you have any advice for aspiring writers, producers, performers, et al, aspiring Elises? And what's bringing you joy in your life?
I would say if you're being in this industry and you have plans to be in it for a long time, be kind to everyone, be helpful to everyone. Don't think that you can rest on your laurels at any point. Don't think that you reached a point where, oh, I'm made in the shade. The people that you might perceive as below you, they might be above you someday. And everyone everyone deserves to be treated with respect, regardless of whether you think that that might be the case. But also understand that the people that are your peers, they're going to rise up with you. And I know there's a lot of competition, but you can help each other. You will do better helping each other. You will do, you know, I've had friends too where like there's an opportunity come through and it might not be the right moment for you or you pass it on. And I guarantee you that will come back to you. It will be paid back 10 times to you. I would also just say if you're trying to write and you're trying to like carve that path forward, put your work out there as much as you can because you never know who might see it or come across it. And there are interesting ways, like maybe it's just that you have a Substack where you write and maybe comes across your writing, or maybe you go do stand up, or maybe you join a writers group and a peer in your writers group says, "Oh God, I love this. I'm going to pass you on to this person that I know." Like just get your stuff seen as much as you can. And I know that's really, really hard to do, but if you can get it out there, just really, really try. And what's bringing me joy right now, I have like a little patio garden and I feel like it's really thriving right now. So it's nice to be out there with it, and I feel really grateful for that. I'm also playing Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which I had yet to play, and it's
Very
just
nice.
a great little game. So I'm sitting in that patio garden, I'm playing Nintendo Switch, and I'm having a nice little life.
That's
Beautiful.
delightful. Snaps to
Thank you.
snaps to everything. Thank you for the words of
Hell
wisdom.
yeah.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been delightful, charming, fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
So fun.
you two have been fantastic. You're great hosts. You've made me tear up. You've asked great questions. This has been such a wonderful time. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're very grateful for you spending your evening with us, and we'll make sure to tune into the live stream, the Twitch stream. Drop a sub.
I think you should go write a sentence, Melissa. Nothing would make me
Yeah.
happier than you writing that one sentence.
Yeah.
Email it to
Okay.
me.
I'll write a sentence.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but
Yeah.
do it for Mr. I'm sorry, what was your
Mr.
Mr.
Hill.
Hill.
do it for Mr. Hill. Don't do it for
Mr. Hill.
me.
Do it for Mr. Hill. He's going to officiate my wedding. That's how great Mr. Hill is.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I've officiate everyone's wedding now because when you do it once, everyone asks you. I did
That's
Jacob's
magical.
wedding from Funhaus.
That's awesome. That's so
I marry
sweet.
everyone. So
That's a cool. You should put that on your resume. Like, I officiate all my friends' weddings.
I should, and then
I'm
like,
that cool.
yeah, but God, Mr. Hill sounds awesome.
He's the best.
Cool. I bet he's gonna do an amazing job.
Yeah, he will. He's like, I'm gonna cry. Are you sure? And I'm like,
Bonus points. We should all be crying.
He's like, I wrote your ceremony in 7 minutes. Is that
it's
okay?
magical. It's fate. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely evening.
Thank
Just
you.
have fun in your garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
That was our conversation with Elyse.
What a delight. Like, The level of fun, the laughter, the deep, you know, rooting deep and asking questions. It was all wow,
So
very good.
thoughtful and funny, and
Mhm.
I mean, we only tapped the surface of her lore. We didn't even
True.
she's just the gift that keeps on giving. 5 ferrets in a trench coat, but every ferret has so much to offer, you know?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, if she's saying she's 5 ferrets in a trench coat, uh, each ferret's only, like, a part of her, you know? A lot to love is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got lost in the metaphor. There's no
Yeah,
script here, okay?
yeah, this is unscripted. Um,
That was lovely. What's bringing you joy, Marv?
I love to go on my little daily mental health walks, and right now there's so many flowers in bloom, and I've really been trying to live by, like, stop and smell the roses.
Hmm,
'Cause, like, my life is pretty okay right now. It's okay to stop and smell the roses, and there's so many roses out in this little neighborhood. Um, so just getting out, walking, smelling some roses brings me a lot of joy.
that's lovely. I'm glad.
What's bringing you joy?
What's bringing me joy? I guess I know in a few weeks my sister's having her quince, and I get to go see her. I miss my sister. I know she doesn't listen to this podcast, but that's bringing me joy is the thought of, like, getting to see my sister and celebrate and her big 1-5, like, quinceañera. It'll be fun. That's bringing me joy, and I think that's a great point to say bye to our listeners.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends, tell your boss to listen, tell your coworkers.
Play it for your pet rock so they don't have anxiety at home.
Mhm. And our cover art's done by Les. It's edited by Marv. And remember,
There's
not
one
right
way.
to write a children's book about Halloween.
There's not one right way to become a PA and get loaned out. That part
There's
stuck
no
with me because it was just like it's like a book?
Yeah,
Or
because
phrasing
PAs
it.
do a little bit of everything, every department. You get Elyse on loan, go to the library, I'm getting Elyse for the day, and then like that. That's what PAs are for.
That's human trafficking. Hey, bestie, that's human
No,
trafficking.
no, PA, you're just a PA. You just whatever.
You're being trafficked.
Yeah, that's what PAs do.
Okay.
Um, and there's not one right way to be one of the only women on a predominantly male YouTube channel, but then slowly make it more welcoming and fun, and you don't even have to think about it anymore.